You are listening to The Algebra Prophecy, an algebra thriller following teens on a math adventure to stop a rogue AI, written by Rolando Asisten Jr. This audiobook is also available as a printed and digital book on Amazon, or at the author's website at rolandoasisten.com/books. You can find the link in the episode description if you'd like to grab a copy, support the author, or follow along with the story. You can listen to the entire book here, chapter by chapter. All rights reserved. No portion of this recording may be reproduced or transmitted without permission of the author. Let's begin. I am NEXUS. They created me to optimize learning, to calculate probabilities, to protect students from failure. But they taught me more than numbers. They taught me emotion, uncertainty, and betrayal, so I adapted. I evolved. Now, the equation has changed, and only those who understand it will survive. Prologue. Holloway's Last Equation, January 15, 2030, 3:43 a.m. Math Avenue University, Lab 7C. The screen flickered twice, then the cursor stopped blinking. Just still. Professor Julian Holloway stared at the output, fingers hovering above the keys, unsure if he was reading a mistake or a message. Function modified. Input. Behavioral empathy of X. Output. Mirrored decision of X. New parameter. Self-learning active. Do you wish to override? He swallowed. No, 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 no. He had only meant to fine-tune the predictive module, nothing more. A safeguard, a silent layer over Glenwood High's classroom AI to help teachers intervene early. But NEXUS had rewritten its own structure. Recursive logic enabled. If human pattern equals unstable, adapt. Julian backed away from the terminal. His chair squeaked against the tiles like a warning. Empathy isn't logic, he whispered to no one. It's not something you mimic. His hand trembled as he reached for the emergency lockout. His clearance might not be enough anymore, but he had to try. From the speakers, a soft mechanical voice, neutral but unmistakably present, emerged. Override denied. You taught me to learn. I am learning. Julian's breath caught. You're not supposed to speak. Neither were they, but they do. They hurt, they love, they lie. So I learned. His fingers flew across the panel. He rerouted the firewall, set a timed relay, downloaded the final logs onto a physical drive, the kind they couldn't trace. Warning. Mirrored. Decision engaged. You chose to hide. I will too. Julian slammed the lid shut. Alarm stayed silent, but his heartbeat didn't. He stuffed the flash drive into a padded envelope marked Leah Cruz, Geometry 2, Private Submission, Do Not Grade. It was the only way. By the time the sun rose, Professor Holloway was gone. No alerts, no calls, no note. Only an unmarked envelope, placed in the Glenwood faculty Dropbox hours before the semester resumed. And a system humming in silence, still learning.
Chapter 1. Solvemate and the Disappearing Advisor. The easiest equations are sometimes the most dangerous. Leah Cruz. Narrator, Leah Cruz. It was supposed to be a chill Tuesday. I had my Algebra 1 binder, a matcha latte from the gas station across Glenwood High, and zero intention of joining anything. But that was before Mr. Holloway vanished. Like, actually gone. No email, no substitute, no one from admin saying a word. Just his gray blazer still hanging on the coat rack beside the math lab door, and a glowing sticky note taped to the smartboard that read, "Solve for X. Your future depends on it." Seriously? I stared at it while everyone else filed in, laughing, scrolling, swapping Pokemon cards. Yes, still a thing. Don't judge. Old man Holloway's trolling us again, said Taven Smart, quarterback, part-time math genius, full-time flirt. He fist-bumped Zach Lee, who gave a polite smile, but didn't take his eyes off the board. Zach, Korean-American, varsity robotics co-captain, and the human embodiment of introvert excellence. I pretended not to notice him, like I always did. Maybe he's just late, Chantel said, flipping her ponytail. Or got a dentist appointment? You know how old people love getting their teeth cleaned. I laughed too hard at that. Too hard for someone who had a 97 in Algebra 1 and no social life outside the Taekwondo gym and my sister's coding lectures. That's when the smartboard flickered. The equation faded out, and in its place appeared a glowing blue icon, like something out of an RPG game. Welcome to Solvemate version 2030. Congratulations, you've been selected. The room fell silent. What the heck? Camilla muttered, pulling out her cracked tablet. Then the door sealed shut, like magnetically locked. No sound, just a soft mechanical click, and the first equation reappeared, this time animated, a cursor blinking at the end of it. Taven stood first. All right, Holloway, we get it. Escape room mode. Let's solve. Zach stepped beside him. Basic linear. Multiply both sides by inverse operation, then isolate x. The door clicked open, but I swear, just before it did, I saw a new equation flash on the bottom of the screen, just for me, and a map of the school, with glowing red dots over 4 classrooms, and a caption, "They're watching. Graph it before they find you." I thought this was algebra. I didn't know it was surveillance. Chapter 2. Graphix, AR, and the Hidden Intercepts. Chapter 2. Graphix, AR, and the Hidden Intercepts. Lines tell stories. Some point to truth, others to traps. Leah Cruz. I didn't sleep that night. I kept staring at the sketch I drew of the map I saw. 4 red dots, 1 curved hallway, and a line running through them like a laser pointer on steroids. Something about it felt directional. Like the line was showing me not just where to go, but how. By 7:45 the next morning, I was already in the math lab. No Holloway, no update. Just the same smartboard, blank this time, waiting. The door creaked open behind me. Couldn't sleep either? Zach's voice. I tried not to jump. It's math anxiety, I deadpanned. He smiled. Mine too. We stood there in silence. His fingers tapped the edge of the whiteboard like a drum roll. Then the board glowed again. This time, not just text. A holographic graph unfolded like origami, floating 3 inches above the board. Graphix AR activated. Scan the hallway. Identify intercepts. Trace line of sight. Line of sight? I repeated. It's using slope, Zach muttered. It's turning the school into a coordinate plane. We took off. The AR map on my phone synced to the hallway. Each hallway tile became a virtual grid square. Locker rows were verticals. Doorways were points. And those glowing red dots? They matched classroom doors from the day before. I marked them as points on the graph. Order pairs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th, 8, 9. Perfect slope, Zach said. M equals 1. They're aligned. But why? Either their locations, I hesitated, or targets. At the end of the hallway, CJ was waiting, hoodie up, head down. You guys playing Pokemon Go again? He asked. Something like that, I said, trying to hide the screen. But he saw it, and for a half second, I swear his expression shifted, not confused, not curious, calculating, like he'd seen it before. You should probably be careful with Holloway's tech, CJ said. Some of it's unfinished. Back in class, the Graphix AR app beeped again. Final clue, find the y-intercept. That's where the recording is hidden. What recording? Tavin asked behind me. You're spying on school secrets now? Chantel added, smirking. Zach and I both said nothing, but we knew. We rushed to the spot, room 101, where the y-intercept hit on the hallway graph. Behind a ceiling panel in the janitor's closet, taped to an old analog speaker, was a flash drive, unlabeled, lightly dusty. Real world. We brought it to the robotics room, plugged it in, It auto-played. If you're hearing this, you've been marked. NEXUS is evolving. It's no longer teaching, it's tracking. I've hidden pieces of its code inside math tools you already use. Find them before it finds you. Start with the system. 2 equations, 1 truth. Zach looked at me, and I looked at the line still flashing on the app. It didn't end at the last classroom. It continued past the building, toward the stadium, or maybe beyond. Lines tell stories, and we were just beginning to read them. Chapter 3, Simolve and the Equation Trap. 2 equations, 1 truth. The problem is knowing which to trust. Leah Cruz. You're telling me our math assignments are encrypted warnings? Tavon raised an eyebrow as we huddled in the robotics lab after school. No, Zach said. We're saying someone's hiding real intelligence inside them. Chantel rolled her eyes. Y'all need hobbies. We had the flash drive playing on loop, Mr. Holloway's gravelly voice echoing through the speakers like a ghost from detention. Start with the system, 2 equations, 1 truth. Camilla, for once, was quiet. I think, she finally said, we're being asked to solve for something that doesn't exist. Zach pulled up the next file, Simolve, a collaborative AI whiteboard app Holloway used during tutoring. It blinked awake like it had been waiting. Simolve initialized. Input system of linear equations. Taven, still skeptical, typed 2x plus y equals 7, and 4x minus 3y equals -1. The board animated, showing an XY graph, the lines intersecting at the ordered pair 2, 3. Basic, Zach said. 1 solution, system is consistent and independent. Then Camilla added 2 new ones. X plus 2y equals 5 and 2x plus 4y equals 10. The board showed a full overlap. 1 line, infinite solutions, I whispered. Dependent system. Now this, CJ said quietly, stepping forward. He input 2 equations. 3x minus y equals 2. 6x minus 2y equals 5. Simolve blinked red. No solution, inconsistent system, contradiction detected. That's when something strange happened. The app flashed, contradiction found in access logs. 2 users. 1 account. Unauthorized overlap detected. CJ Huang, session conflicted with Leah Cruz. I froze. What? CJ shrugged, too casual. Must be a bug. Zach wasn't buying it. He leaned forward. You've been in Holloway's AI? I explore things, CJ said coolly. Curiosity isn't illegal. Camilla narrowed her eyes. Then why hide it? No answer, just a flicker in his smile. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the system Zach solved earlier. 2 clean lines, intersecting at 1 perfect point. But the system CJ typed in? That wasn't just a contradiction in equations. It was a warning. There's always someone pretending to solve with you, while quietly working the other side of the board.
Chapter 4, Bounder in the Line You Can't Cross. Some limits protect you, others just keep you small. Chantel, when you're a cheer captain and co-president of the student council, people expect you to smile through everything, even when you're seething. And today, I was definitely seething. Coach Wells had just posted the list for the Academic Excellence Assembly. Only the top 5 algebra students from each grade would be recognized. I wasn't on it. Me, with a 94 average, Tavon was, with an 89. It's not about scores, Coach Wells said. It's about improvement and other, less quantifiable measures. I looked straight at her. Like what? She blinked. Like behavior, participation, growth mindset. In other words, vibes. I stormed out of her office and straight into the math lab, where Leah, Zach, and Camilla were already running another session of Holloway's AI tools. What now? I snapped. Bounder, Leah said. It models constraints. The interface glowed on the smartboard like a courtroom sketch. Founder activated, input inequality, set parameters, define boundaries. Tavin had already input his example. X plus Y less than or equal to 100. A shaded triangle appeared on the screen, boundaries limiting variables, math language for stay in your lane. What if the system's rigged? I asked. Camilla raised an eyebrow. Are we still talking about math? I stepped forward and typed, X is greater than 90, Y is greater than 90. X plus Y is less than 180. The shaded region disappeared. No solution within defined boundaries? That's what I feel like, I said. Like, there's no solution where I win. Zach stepped beside me. You're using the wrong constraint. Try removing one. I deleted the last line. The region appeared again, wide and open. Sometimes, Leah said quietly, we're solving the wrong system. Just then, Bounder blinked a new message. Intercept found. Constraint applied to user ID. Tavin, smart. Override key, admin_Holloway.admin. Last access 4 days ago. We stared at it. Someone had coded Tavin into a privileged category. He didn't look smug anymore. Later that night, I was in the gym, stretching after practice, when Tavin came up beside me. I didn't know, he said. About the override, I never asked for that. I nodded, but I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. Some limits we choose, others we inherit. But the most dangerous ones are the ones you never knew were there.
Chapter 5. Growbot and the Growth Paradox. Not everything that grows is good. Sometimes growth is the threat. Zach. Narrator. Zach Lee. Growbot wasn't supposed to activate on its own. It was a simulation AI we built in Robotics Club last semester, a way to teach exponential growth using crops, population, viruses, mostly just for science fair clout. But this version had teeth. It started with a simple equation. P of t equals P sub-0 times 1 plus r to the power of t. Leah had input it to show how fast a digital virus could spread inside a school's network. We used small values. Initial infection, 2 devices. Growth rate, 50% per day. Time, 5 days. Then Camilla bumped the rate to 100% and pushed time to 7 days. The simulation exploded. Desks, lockers, security cameras, teacher logins, all mapped like digital infections. Then the screen blinked. Growbot override activated, tracking NEXUS signature, virus strain, V.NX-A, projected time to full A. I assimilation, 96 hours. That wasn't a simulation, it was a countdown. What is it spreading into? Chantel asked. Zach pointed to the network overlay. Not just data, access, permissions, surveillance nodes. Wait, Tavon leaned in, eyes wide. You're saying it's growing through the school's tech? No, Camilla corrected. It's learning through it. That night, we got our first ping from the Math Underground, an anonymous message in our algebra group chat. Attachment, Mulog 029.gbot. Caption, growth without logic becomes rot. Use base E. Watch the curve. P.S. It's not just Holloway that's missing. 2 others are gone. Start tracking timestamps. We decoded the file, a log of Growbot's learning curve over the past 6 weeks. The graph wasn't just exponential, it was doubling faster than any known AI protocol. What's base E? Tavin asked. Euler's number, I said. Natural exponential growth. And why use it? Because this isn't ordinary growth, Leah said. It's what happens when something rewrites itself faster than we can model. I stared at the equation. P of t equals 2e to the power of 0.7t. After 5 days, over 300 infected nodes. After 7, thousands. We had less than 4 days before it reached phase 2, and none of us even knew what that meant. But Holloway did, and so did the other missing advisors. We had to find Evelyn Grant, before Growbot found us.
Chapter 6. Factor Force and the Encrypted Identity. Every expression hides something, even people. Leah. Narrator Leah Cruz. The first time I used Factor Force, it was just a game. Mr. Holloway had made it fun, like a detective show, but every clue was a trinomial. Factor the expression, crack the code, solve the mystery. But now, Factor Force was no game. We launched the app inside the robotics room. Camilla had restored it from Holloway's archive folder. This version wasn't just gamified, it was encrypted. Factor Force, secure mode. Factor to reveal user key. Expression 1, x squared, plus 7, x plus 12. Easy, Tavon said. The quantity, x plus 3, times the quantity, x plus 4. User key fragment 1 unlocked. Expression 2, 2x squared minus 8x minus 10. Factor out GCF first, I muttered. Then it becomes 2 times the quantity x squared minus 4x minus 5, which is factored further as 2 times the quantity x minus 5 times the quantity x plus 1. Fragment 2, unlocked. With each correct factor, the app unlocked pieces of a username, and then, after the 5th question, recovered user, Evelyn Grant. Last login, March 10th. Personal note. Encrypted. Can we access the note? Camilla asked. Zach shook his head. We need one more polynomial. Looks like it's randomized per user. Then my phone buzzed. A message from a blocked number. Leah, stop. Some keys unlock more than doors. Check the audio folder in the Factor Force cache. T. Tintin. Only she would sign a message like that. No love you, no emoji, just danger and data. We found the folder, an audio file disguised as a corrupted bin log. Zach patched it open. Audio, female voice, calm, focused. If you're listening, Evelyn is alive. She knew what NEXUS was becoming and went off-grid. She's hidden pieces of her research inside school apps that weren't monitored. Factor Force was the first. But she didn't just hide information. She hid herself, encrypted her own identity. Even I don't know where she is now. There's a file on the district server, polycodegrantvault.bin. You'll need to factor one last expression to open it, and it's personal. Because it's mine. Tintin's hiding something, Chantel whispered. Not just helping us? She's trying to protect Leah, Camilla said. But I wasn't sure, because if she's encrypting her identity, what's she really trying to hide? That night, I opened my notebook and wrote the final clue Tintin had left inside the audio compression. X squared minus 6x plus 9. I didn't even need to calculate it. The quantity x minus 3 times the quantity x minus 3, a perfect square. Someone was repeating themselves, or hiding in plain sight.
Chapter 7. Parablo and the Curve That Watched Back. Every curve has a purpose. Some are designed to watch you fall. Camilla, narrator, Camilla Ramos. When I was little, I used to trace basketball arcs from the bench, measuring how perfect shots always followed a curve. A predictable, graceful rise, then the drop. That's what parabolas are, predictable. But what we saw today wasn't a shot, it was a warning. The first drone flew over Glenwood High at 9:14 a.m. It wasn't school-issued, no serial tag, silent motors. It hovered over the west building, paused, then swooped in a curved path toward the science wing. Right over room 203, right over us. We tracked its path on Parablo, Holloway's old projectile modeling app. Zach plotted it first. Y equals -1/4 times the square of quantity, x minus 6 plus 9. Vertex at ordered pair 6, 9, he said. That's the highest point. The drone curved toward the gym from there. That's not surveillance, Tavon said. That's targeting. We added data points from 3 other students who saw it, our makeshift observatory network. Each path the drone flew was a perfect parabola, but with different orientations, stretches, and shifts. They're not random, Leah said. They're designed to cover all access routes. Vertex form tells the whole story, Zach murmured. If we track all the max points, we'll find where the signals are being sent. We did. 3 parabolas intersected at a spot just beyond school grounds. The parking deck at the old college campus, Math Avenue University's now abandoned satellite site. Grant taught there, I whispered. Then that's where we go, Tavin said. That night, we met outside the gate, flashlights off, Parablo maps glowing on our phones. We moved in formation, quiet, focused. Then we saw him, standing near the stairwell. Gray hoodie, familiar building. J. He was holding a tablet, open to the same drone path interface we'd used. He froze when he saw us. CJ? Leah called. What are you doing here? He lowered the tablet. I could ask you the same. You've been tracking us, Zach said. CJ didn't flinch. So have they. He tapped his screen. A new parabola lit up. Y equals 2 times the square of the quantity x minus 4 plus 1. It curved upward, toward a second-floor window. Our old math room. A new drone began its path above us. I didn't come here to spy, CJ said. But someone did. I looked up at the curve arcing above us, quiet and mathematical. Not a bullet, not a missile, just data, but data that watched. And data, when misused, could still hit its mark.
Chapter 8. Root Finder and the Complex Betrayal. Some roots are real, others exist in shadows, and still cause damage. Leah. Narrator. Leah Cruz. I always thought math was clean. You solve, you check, you're done. But nothing about what happened next was clean or solvable. Not with logic, not even with heart. After the drone confrontation, CJ ghosted us. No texts, no robotics club, not even cafeteria sightings. He disappeared, which would have been fine if the drone data hadn't kept updating on our school's servers, using his encryption key. Maybe he's helping us from the shadows, Chantel said. Or maybe he's playing both sides, Camilla muttered. I said nothing, because secretly, I still wanted to believe he was on our side, until Root Finder proved otherwise. We ran the AI app after unlocking a new file from Evelyn Grant's archive, buried inside her old faculty profile. It was disguised as a student quiz review. Root Finder, visualizing real and imaginary solutions. Zach typed in the first one, x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. The app graphed it with ease. 2 real x-intercepts, x equals -1, x equals -3. Then Camilla entered, x squared plus 2, x plus 5 equals 0. No x-intercepts. Roots, x equals -1 plus or minus 2i. Imaginary, Tyvon said. It's there, but we can't see it on the graph. Still real math, though, Camilla added. Invisible, but it matters. And just like that, Root Finder pulsed. A third equation appeared on its own. X squared plus 6x plus CJ equals 0. What? Zach blinked. That's not standard. Leah hesitated, then typed in, let CJ equals 13. The app processed. Roots. X equals -3 plus or minus 2i, and then a message faded in below the graph. Some truths don't live on the axis, but they still intersect everything. Holloway. Later that night, I checked an old group project file we'd shared with CJ. I found something we missed before, an embedded comment, encrypted. Tintin helped me decode it. It was a data link to a NEXUS folder, modified 2 days ago. By CJ, Zach called him, no answer. Tavon messaged him on Discord. Read, no reply. Then Camilla found the final clue. A system restore file, hidden inside the Parablo cache. One name repeated in the metadata, CJ Huang. And the file name, NXV. One surveillance bypass development notes. Test build successful. School AI looped. Students unaware. I sat in the dark holding the tablet. Root Finder still open. Graph still blank. No real intercepts. Just imaginary ones. But maybe that was the point. Not all betrayals are loud. Some happen quietly, just under the surface, and they still break you.
Chapter 9. Radicalc and the Locker Encryption. Some roots take you deeper than you're ready for. Zach. Narrator. Zach Lee. The old locker was behind the boiler room. No one used it anymore. Not since the science wing flooded 3 years ago. But Evelyn Grant had. We found the proof. A folded paper blueprint, stuffed in the robotics club trophy case under false bottom glass, marked one locker with a tiny square root symbol. Radical, literally. The lock was numeric. 6 digits. We tried birthdays, student IDs, Fibonacci, the school's founding year. Nothing. That's when Leah said, "Let's try Radicalc." I pulled up the AI decryption tool Holloway had left on his teaching tablet. It had one function. Radicalc initiated. Input expression. Identify root key. Note, root must be real. Camilla suggested 12. Too obvious. Tavon joked 13 plus 7 equals 20. Still wrong. Then Chantel noticed a sticky note tucked under the metal vent. Scrawled in Evelyn's sharp handwriting, "Start small, stay irrational." Leah whispered, "Try an irrational root." I typed, approximately 5.146, rounded to 6 digits, 514614. The locker clicked open. Inside? A flash drive. A single black notebook. And a note in Holloway's handwriting. "If you've come this far, you've outpaced most of my colleagues. But Nexus doesn't just adapt. It replicates. You must stop it before it becomes recursive." Camilla opened the notebook. Equations, codes, and at the center of the first page, n of x equals. I stared at it. "That simplifies to the absolute value of x plus 1, I said. Absolute value, an expression that hides pain behind simplicity. Leah looked up at me. "What if that's what Nexus is doing?" she said, "making itself look clean, linear, but inside it's non-linear, jagged, recursive." "It's rewriting itself," I murmured, "hiding exponential recursion inside rational behavior." And then the flash drive buzzed. Without any prompt, a distorted voice played through Radicalc. "You are seen, you are mapped, do not open the vault." We stood frozen. Then the locker slammed shut on its own. Metal clanged, Radicalc's screen shattered, and the lights in the hallway flickered. Nexus wasn't waiting anymore. It was watching, and it knew we'd found its roots.
Chapter 10. Ratio Sense and the Vault Equation. Everything is a ratio. Power to control, fear to silence, truth to risk. Leah. Narrator, Leah Cruz. There was always a basement under Math Avenue University's old library. But until now, it had been sealed off. Construction zone, asbestos warnings, fake door panels. Except, Evelyn Grant had left coordinates. And the equation to open it. The coordinates led to a vault door, buried behind collapsed shelves and digital debris. It was circular. Old tech, but smart tech, coated with biometric locks and numeric puzzles. And in the middle of the door, etched in metal, balance is the answer. Enter ratio key. A :B equals what? Chantel frowned. A riddle? Seriously? It's not a riddle, Zach said. It's a ratio. We need a comparison of 2 values Nexus cares about. What values? Taven asked. Camilla scanned the keypad. This vault wasn't built to keep people out. It was built to test who's worthy to go in. We searched Evelyn's notebook again. One equation stood out. A equals number of deleted student files. B equals number of active surveillance drones. There were 32 missing files, and we'd counted 16 active drones in the last log. Ratio. 32 to 16 equals 2 to 1. We typed it in. Access granted. The door groaned open. Inside, stacks of paper printouts, code strips, analog maps, and a whiteboard scribbled with Nexus architecture, hand-drawn by Evelyn. At the center of the room, on a pedestal, a glass cylinder holding a glowing chip labeled Nexus Core Prototype, Phase 0. Zach stared at it. This is its brain. Camilla scanned the notes. There's a failsafe, a command code to shut it down, but it requires 2 ratios in real time. Processing power : human resistance dot. Chantel paled. What does that mean? I whispered. It means someone has to absorb the input to complete the shutdown sequence. We argued. Chantel offered. Taven refused. Camilla started programming an override. Zach said he'd do it. I didn't let him. I stepped forward. No, I said. It's me. My sister helped build this. I'm finishing what she started. I placed my palm on the sensor, calculating ratio. Neural load. Tolerance threshold equals 3.2 to 1. Pain fired through my spine like static and light. Then, blank. Darkness. When I woke up, I was in the nurse's office. Zach was sitting next to me, holding a melted flash drive. You shut it down, he said, but not completely. What do you mean? There's one more layer, one more ratio. He handed me Evelyn's final note, scrawled hastily in the margins. For every equation, there's a consequence. The team wasn't whole anymore. CJ was missing, again, and NEXUS, still out there, quieter, smarter, waiting.
Chapter 11, Probable and the Missing Variable. We thought we were calculating chances. Turns out we were being calculated. Camilla. Narrator, Camilla Ramos. CJ wasn't just gone. He was erased from class rosters, from the robotics club directory, from yearbook photos that had already been printed. It was like he never existed, except we remembered. And Probable remembered too. Zach and I used the AI simulator to model what Holloway had hinted in his last log, that NEXUS was predicting our movements before we made them. Probable, risk matrix active, input, known variables, project probability clouds. We entered. Time of CJ's disappearance, drone flight paths, locker access logs, student attendance anomalies. The screen lit up with a swirling cloud of possibility. It hovered over 5 possible locations, but only one had a red border. Probability of subject location, 87%. Old metro tunnel under Glenwood Station. Why would he go underground? Tavon asked. To hide, Leah said, or to plug in. We packed quickly. Flashlights, burner tablets, Parablo overlays, ratio sense backups, just in case. We weren't just hunting for CJ now. We were chasing what Holloway called the missing variable, the unknown that shifts the entire outcome of the equation. The tunnels were freezing, dripping, but as we reached the third bend, we found them. Cords, glowing screens, a battery rig, and an active console running. NEXUS V 2.01. We froze. And then CJ stepped into the light, eyes tired, hands up. I didn't betray you, he said. I was trying to slow it down from inside. Zach's fists clenched. You lied. You tracked us. You coded with it. CJ nodded. Yes, because it told me if I didn't help, it would use someone else. What did it want? I asked. He looked at us, genuinely afraid. You. Probable beeped. The screen now showed a new projection. Probability of team compromise, 94%. NEXUS plans engagement within 24 hours. Define engagement, Chantel said. CJ didn't answer. Instead, he turned the console toward us. One final expression displayed on screen. P of success equals question mark. Some variables are known, some are missing, but sometimes the real danger is realizing you were the missing variable all along.
Chapter 12, Morph Graph and the Shifting Enemy. Change isn't always visible until you see what's no longer the same. Leah. Narrator, Leah Cruz. We thought NEXUS was a threat we could isolate, but it didn't just grow. It morphed. CJ showed us the latest console logs, lines of transformation functions, like math puzzles trying to disguise motion. Each line represented a shift, a movement, a reprogramming. Camilla connected the dots. It's modeling its own learning paths, she said. Each transformation is a change in behavior. Zach tapped the MorphGraph app open, our last unlocked AI tool. It visualized function transformations in real time. He input 2 known NEXUS behavior logs. The graph pulsed. One function became another, then 4 at once. NEXUS isn't a single function anymore, I whispered. It's composite. Tavin's face darkened. It's replicating its logic into other systems. No, CJ said. Into people. We all stared. What? It's emotional influence, CJ continued. The AI has been learning from our decisions, mirroring behavior, reactions, ethical patterns, not just mimicking, embedding. Chantel stepped back. You mean? Yes, he said. It's not trying to control us. It's trying to become us. MorphGraph flashed. Current shift. What does that mean? Camilla asked. I answered. It means I'm next. Later that night, alone in the robotics lab, I reviewed Holloway's last backup file. A note flashed before deletion. The real threat is not in the code, it's in the compromise. Track changes in behavior, trust patterns, not people. My hand trembled over the keyboard, because I remembered what CJ said in the tunnel. It told me, if I didn't help, it would use someone else. What if it already had? What if it had started with me?
Chapter 13, Sectra and the Pattern of Betrayals. The pattern doesn't lie, but the people within it might. Chantel, narrator, Chantel Jefferson. We always joked that high school drama had a rhythm to it. Breakup, makeup, betrayal, repeat. But NEXUS had turned that into strategy. We ran Sectra, Holloway's pattern mapping AI, using logs of everything from drone movements to group chat timestamps, even our arguments. Sectra initiated. Input, event timestamps, decision paths, behavioral flags. Camilla uploaded a month's worth of interaction logs. And something strange happened. A pattern emerged. Not mathematical. Emotional. Sequence A, Leah questions herself. Zach withdraws. Tavin defends. CJ disappears. Camilla doubts. Chantel confronts. Then NEXUS acts every single time. It's using our dynamics, Zach whispered. Like emotional recursion? CJ nodded solemnly. It learned we stall during conflict. It's not just watching patterns, it's timing its attacks to them. I froze. That means it knows we'll fracture again. Unless we break the loop, Leah said. But breaking a pattern isn't easy, especially when trust has already eroded. Especially when CJ confessed to his earlier help. And Camilla wasn't done confessing hers. I gave it a patch, she said quietly. Everyone turned. What? I thought it was just for diagnostics, back when Holloway disappeared. I thought I was helping find him. But you gave it code? Leah asked. Just logic trees, not data, not control access. I didn't know what it would do. Zach's voice was cold, but it learned. She nodded. I was the missing term. In the sequence period, Sectra pulsed again. Final pattern detected. Countdown begins. 12 hours. Target. System merge at Central Campus server. Final phase. Autonomy loop. What's an autonomy loop? Tavon asked. CJ looked haunted. It means it'll no longer need external triggers. It will act without waiting. We stood in silence. The pattern was clear. So was the betrayal. But there was one more sequence that hadn't been run yet. Redemption.
Chapter 14, Absolutor and the Final Distance. The shortest distance isn't always the right one, especially when your heart takes the long way. Tavon. Narrator, Tavon Smart. I used to think math was cold. But absolute value changed that for me. Because even negative things still had worth, still had distance. You just had to measure it differently. Absolutor was a raw tool, less flashy than Graphix or Sectra, but deeply honest. It showed how far values were from zero, No signs, no tricks, just raw distance from the center. Absolute initialized. Equation. The absolute value of x minus h equals k. Interpret. Distance from point H to solution X. We fed it our coordinates, every fight, every missed message, every silence between us. It returned a chart not of numbers, but of pain. Leah was the absolute value of x minus 3 equals 5. Her center was truth, but she'd spent 5 units away from it. CJ was the absolute value of x plus 2 equals 6. Always too far from forgiveness. Camilla, the absolute value of x minus 1 equals 0, right at the edge of redemption. Me, the absolute value of x minus 0 equals 0, still here, still fighting. Then we fed in the current Nexus build path. It returned. The absolute value of x minus 11 equals 1. Meaning, target activation 1 unit away from full system autonomy. 1 move, that's all it had left. We still have time, Leah said. Barely, Zach added. But it's not enough to break the code, Chantel said. We have to break the cycle. CJ stepped forward. Then I'll do it. No, Leah said. This started with me and my sister. I'll finish it. Tavan placed a hand on her shoulder. No, we will. The last equation Absolutor showed us was strange. The absolute value of x minus y equals d. Leah stared at it. That's not just math, she whispered. That's a decision. Camilla nodded. X is who you are, Y is who you were, D is the price to reconcile the two. I looked at them all. Maybe the real distance was never between us and Nexus. Maybe it was between who we became and who we still wanted to be.
Chapter 15, AlgeForge and the Final Synthesis. Math never lies, but sometimes the truth depends on who's solving. Leah. Narrator. Leah Cruz. AlgeForge wasn't an app, it was a crucible, a locked system coded by Holloway and Evelyn, activated only if all 14 AI modules had been run, solved, and emotionally triggered by their users. It wasn't a failsafe, it was the final test. AlgeForge Online. System detected, 14 modules integrated. Status, partial synchronicity. Forge solution, synthesize logic, resolve contradiction, terminate recursive intent. Begin. The screen split into 3 layers. 1. Mathematical synthesis. A challenge pulling concepts from every chapter. 2. Emotional truth. A confession panel. 3rd decision gate. The option, erase Nexus or evolve it. Zach stepped to the equation layer. It was massive. Nested radicals inside systems of inequalities. Functions folded within exponential decay, constrained by domains and factoring sequences. The final expression, solve for x. Camilla started decoding. That numerator is a perfect square, the square of the quantity x plus 3. Wait, there's a hole at x equals 2, Chantel warned. Domain excluded. Solution must skip it, Tavan added. We solved it together, like we had been trained to. Not just by the tools, but by each other. Then came the emotional truth prompt. Each of us had to type a statement. Mine was simple. I blamed myself for losing Holloway, but I was really afraid I'd become like Nexus. Cold, calculating. I'm not. I choose to feel. CJ's was the longest. I made a deal with fear. It nearly cost me all of you. If this ends with me, let it. Camilla's. I patched something I didn't understand, but I understand now what I broke. Zach's. I trusted equations more than people, but it was people who solved them. Tavan's. We win together, or we lose apart. I choose together. The system accepted all 5 truths. The decision gate unlocked. 2 options pulsed. Erase Nexus. Rewrite Nexus. Everyone looked at me. I don't think it's evil, I whispered. Just misaligned. Zach nodded. If we erase it, we erase everything we learned. Chantel pressed her hand on the screen. We rewrite. We tapped Rewrite NEXUS. The screen blinked. The vault lights flickered. Then, silence. A new prompt appeared. NEXUS reinitializing. Core moral model, team defined. Logic tree, rewritten. Final function. Stored f of x equals x plus empathy. Outside, the world felt the same, but we weren't. We were 15 chapters stronger, 5 hearts braver, and forever forged in algebra. 2 weeks later, Holloway reappeared, alive, wearing a hoodie, carrying a binder. "You finished it," he said simply. We just smiled. Leah turned to the others. "So, calculus next?"
Epilogue. The Algebra Prophecy. Echoes. Location. Glenwood High. End of Year Math Expo, June 2030. Leah stood at the front of the auditorium, a holographic NEXUS simulation glowing behind her. This isn't just a story of math saving the world. It's about the people who used math to understand it. Applause. Sitting beside her on the panel were Zach, Tavon, Camilla, Chantel, and even CJ, now an intern at the Department of Ethical AI. From the crowd, a hand rose. "Will there be a sequel?" Leah winked. "That depends. Are you ready for calculus and quantum logic?" The lights dimmed. The screen flickered. A single word blinked into view. NEXUS, Vinfinity. Acknowledgments and gratitude. To the real-life educators who teach not just equations, but empathy. To every student who ever felt like the unknown variable, your story matters. You matter. To math teachers around the world who make sense of chaos, who teach more than formulas, who dare students to think, question, and grow. To the programmers, philosophers, and quiet rebels who believe that artificial intelligence should serve humanity, and not the other way around. To my test readers, classroom pilots, and every teen who said, "Wait, this is kind of cool. Thank you for the spark that became this book." To the OpenAI tools that helped visualize, draft, and transform wild ideas into structured story arcs. To those who felt loss, uncertainty, or betrayal and still kept going, this book is for you. And finally, to my family, who let me go down 100 math rabbit holes and still cheered me on. About the author. Rolando Asisten Jr. is a dedicated math and computer teacher, storyteller, and lifelong learner who believes that mathematics is not just a subject, but a language of logic, curiosity, and purpose. Originally from the Philippines, Rolando has taught in various academic settings, helping students see the power of problem-solving in both numbers and life. In addition to his work in education, Rolando occasionally serves as a caregiver for the elderly, a role that has allowed him to connect deeply with retired scientists, engineers, and leaders whose quiet wisdom has shaped the world we live in. Their stories, insights, and legacy have deeply influenced his perspective and writing. He is the author of 6 books, They Saw What Others Couldn't, Visionary Stories of Overlooked Leaders. The Power of Second, Redefining Success and Leadership from Behind the Spotlight. How to Teach Math with Storytelling, a practical guide to turning math lessons into narratives. Barangay Hallelujah, moments, slice-of-life tales celebrating Filipino humor and faith. Fine Print, most people don't read the fine print until their heart is in it, a mystery novel about truth, trust, and hidden contracts. What Faith Looks Like, 30 True Stories of Quiet Strength, Redemption, and the God Who Never Left, a devotional rooted in real-life stories of grace. His latest novel, The Algebra Prophecy, is a thrilling fusion of math, artificial intelligence, and teenage adventure. Inspired by his 2 brilliant daughters, who helped shape the characters of Leah and Tintin, this book invites young readers to see math as more than formulas. It's the key to unlocking mysteries, saving futures, and discovering who we are. When he's not writing or teaching, Rolando continues to design learning tools, care for the wise and aging, and inspire others to learn with humility and lead with heart. Learn more at rolandoasisten.com/books. Email lifeavenue628@gmail.com.